Hi, I'm Michelle and welcome to my channel. Are you tired of the perfect slow living aesthetic dominating your feed, making you feel like you're missing out? What if I told you that true slow living isn't about perfectly styled overnight oat bowls, gleaming linen sheets, and minimalist decor, but about something far more liberating and accessible? We've all seen it, the endless parade of posts with crisp white kitchens, handmade ceramic mugs, and captions about living simply. But have you noticed how complicated it actually looks to look simple? The reality is that version of slow living often feels just like another performance. Expensive linen beddings, untouched matcha lattes, designer furniture, and sun-drenched minimalist interiors. It makes you wonder, is this what slow living really is? Instead of calming us, this picture perfect aesthetic often does the opposite. It creates pressure. It makes us feel like our messy lives, our cluttered counters, or our reheated leftovers just aren't good enough. When we compare our everyday reality to someone else's curated highlights, we set ourselves up for stress, guilt, and a constant sense of falling behind. To really understand why slow living matters, we have to step back and look at why we're so rushed in the first place. Culturally, we've been taught to wear busy like a badge of honor. How often do you hear someone proudly say, "I'm just so busy"? Productivity has become the measure of our worth, and slowing down feels like breaking the rules. Add to that consumerism, where instant gratification is the norm, and no wonder we always feel like we need more, faster. Amazon Prime, one-click shopping, social media dopamine hits. Everything is designed to keep us moving at an unsustainable pace. This constant rush takes a toll on our mental health, leaving us anxious and burnout. It strains our relationships because we're physically present but mentally elsewhere. And it even impacts our physical well being. Stress hormones wreak havoc on our bodies when we never pause. At its heart, slow living is about intention. It's not about how your life looks, it's about how your life feels. It's about asking yourself, does the way I spend my days reflect what really matters most to me? Here's the thing, slow living doesn't require linen curtains, ceramic mugs, or a kitchen straight out of a design magazine. It requires just you, your presence, and your choice to align your time and energy with your values. Think about it. When you're eating dinner, are you really tasting your food? Or are you scrolling and half watching TV and barely noticing the meal that you prepared? Slow living invites you to simply eat the meal. Notice the textures, the flavors, the company, or even the quiet if you're dining alone. It's going for a walk without rushing to burn calories or hit a step count. Instead, you notice the crispness of the air, the sound of the leaves under your shoes, or the way the light shifts as the sun sets. It's having a conversation with someone and putting your phone away, not because you want to look like you're being mindful, but because you actually want to hear them and to connect. And maybe most importantly, slow living is about giving yourself permission to let go of perfection. Your house doesn't need to look like Pinterest. Your meals don't need to be arranged like a cookbook photo. And your mornings don't have to include journaling, yoga, and matcha in a perfect cup to count as slow. In fact, real slow living looks different for everyone. For some, it's gardening, some, it's knitting, or others, it's just taking time to read or bake, or simply say no to an extra commitment because you want quiet. There's no wrong way to do it because it's not about checking off boxes. It's about choosing what feels right for you. And when you release the pressure to do slow living right, that's when the real beauty starts to show up. It's messy, it's ordinary, and it's imperfect. And that's exactly what makes it meaningful. Slowing down isn't just about feeling calmer. It actually creates real, tangible benefits. First, productivity. It sounds backwards, but when you focus on doing one thing at a time instead of constantly multitasking, you often get more done in less time. Focused intervals of work are far more effective than hours of scattered attention. Second, your mental clarity skyrockets. With less noise, your mind has room to breathe. Anxiety lessens and creativity starts to flow. You notice the small joys that you've been rushing past. And third, relationships. When you are fully present, listening, laughing, and sharing without distraction, your connections deepen. Family dinners become more meaningful, and friendships grow richer. Even short conversations feel more alive. So, how do you actually begin to shift into slow living without getting caught up in the aesthetics or feeling like you need to change everything overnight? Start small. Start so small that it almost feels too simple. Because the truth is, slow living isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in tiny, consistent choices. Choose just one area of your life to slow down intentionally. Maybe it's mealtime. You put the phone in another room, turn off the TV, and simply eat. You notice the taste, the texture, and maybe even the gratitude for where that meal came from. Or maybe it's in your mornings. Instead of checking your email before you're out of bed, you sit with your coffee, look out the window, and let yourself wake up without rushing. It could be your relationships. You decide that for one conversation this week, you put distractions away and give someone your full attention. Really listen, really connect. And if your life feels hectic right now, even something as simple as stepping outside and taking 5 deep breaths in the fresh air can be your version of slowing down. That counts too. The key is to not overcomplicate it. Don't set up rules. Don't aim for perfection. This isn't about creating another to-do list. It's about giving yourself permission to reclaim one small pocket of your day. Because here's what happens. Once you slow down in one area, you start to notice the ripple effect. That moment of presence at dinner makes the whole evening feel calmer. That phone-free morning makes your day less frantic. And that deeper conversation strengthens a relationship that you value. And slowly, without forcing it, you begin to realize that the real freedom is this. You are in control of your time and your attention again. You're no longer pulled in 1,000 directions by comparison, productivity, or someone else's definition of living well. You're writing your own definition, and when you do, you discover joy not just in the picture perfect moments, but in the beautifully ordinary ones, the kind you might have rushed past before. So, what's the one thing you're going to slow down on this week? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your ideas. Thank you so much for watching.